Greetings. My name is Bob Clanton, and I want to welcome you to Church Life, course in Grace College of Divinity, CLG 211. And for the next 8 weeks, we will be studying perhaps one of the most important topics for your future in ministry, which is church life. The value and importance of the local church and of the church in general. We'll be studying the broad topic of ecclesiology. And once again, I'm honored to be your instructor, your professor during this time. So I'm making this short video for two reasons. Number one, I hope to be able to do at least a short video each week during the course as an introduction to the subject matter of that particular week. But on a more particular note, I'm making this video as an introduction to the entire course. And so I want to introduce myself to you and give you a few of the guidelines that we'll be following as we study church life. Once again, my name is Bob Clanton. I am the pastor of New Life Community Church in Monroe, Louisiana. I have been the pastor of this church for 30 years now. I've been in the ministry for 44 years, and I'm still young, so isn't that amazing? But I say that to say that I do have a certain degree of track record to bring to this topic. I've been around a while, so by way of my resume, I've been involved in denominational life, grew up Southern Baptist, was ordained as a Southern Baptist minister, and then became involved in a broader picture of what was then called the Charismatic Renewal, and became involved in various other churches, church structures, renewal situations, things of that sort. So I've been involved since 1971 with the Charismatic Renewal, been involved in denominational life, and also been involved in interchurch involvement, relationships. So I bring to this course something of a wide variety of involvement with denominational structures as well as interdenominational structures. I received my doctorate a few years back from Reformed Theological Seminary in Orlando, and my focus and my dissertation was on post-denominational Christianity. It dealt with the nature of the church, and particularly of interchurch relationships and the rise of what is now called apostolic networks. And so that is, of course, an ecclesiological topic. It involves the nature of the church. And so I bring to this course what I would consider to be a high view of the church, and particularly of the local church. Bill Hybels, the pastor of Willow Creek Community Church, I believe was one of the first to make the statement that the hope of the world is the local church. The viability and strength and effectiveness of the local church is the hope of the world. Of course, Jesus is the hope of the world, but his purpose and his activity on earth is in and through the local church. So I bring that to this course. I don't know of anything I'd rather teach and deal with and learn more about myself, as a matter of fact, than church life. So what is this course about? First off, I'd like to give you a few of the guidelines of what we're going to be doing. I have notes that will be available to you on a weekly basis. I would ask you to download those notes and read them. My videos on a weekly basis will in many ways deal with and come out of these notes. These are teaching notes that I have personally used myself in other situations. There will be reading each week. I'm asking you to do reading. We have Ted Haggard's book, The Life-Giving Church. Now, I realize that Ted Haggard had his rough days in ministry, but despite the fact that he's had his down days, the book is still a very, very good book. It's one of the best. And so that's the reason why I've chosen to use it. Also, we'll be using Michael Fletcher's book, Overcoming Barriers to Growth. That will be a part of our growth emphasis, that particular lecture. Also, I'm asking you to read 3 chapters out of my dissertation. That'll be next week. So I'm going to ask you to do reading. Also, there'll be supplemental reading. As a matter of fact, this week I have 3 blog posts by James Emery White out of Charlotte, North Carolina, pastor there and former seminary president, and whatever happened to the church. And there'll be various readings along those lines. Also, there's going to be a weekly workbook. I'm going to ask you to download that, fill it out. It won't be extensive. It won't be big, but it's designed to be thought-provoking, and I will push you back into the Scripture. When you see a Scripture citation there, I'm not asking you to give an exegesis of it. I'm not asking you to write a short essay on it. I'm asking you to tell what it means to you. Just write it out there. Various questions that will be reflective, and I'll try to read those and react to them. On a bi-weekly basis, we'll have the discussion board. And if you've had anything to do with online courses, perhaps you've already dealt with a discussion forum. And we're going to ask you to do an initial thread of 250 to 350 words, and with 2 citations, 2 reference citations. You may use the workbook, the textbooks, but we ask that you use proper footnoting on that. Also, you'll be asked to do 1 response thread. Because of the size of our class, we're not going to ask you to do 2 of them, but just do 1. On a bi-weekly basis, you will have a quiz. This will not be a long quiz, maybe 10 to 12 questions, and usually in a multiple choice format. It is open book, it is open notes. Again, the quiz is designed to be not only an assessment, but a learning tool itself. I'm asking you to do a research paper. By the end of the course, I'm going to ask you to produce a research paper. The details of how you do that are elsewhere in this course under the info section, so I'm asking you to check that out. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be studying the local church. Now, a few final notes that I want to mention to you, what we're after, the scope of our course. Our primary scope or emphasis will be to take the eternal and bring it down to the practical. We start with the broadest perspective of the church and God's eternal purposes. Ephesians 3:10, that now the manifold wisdom of God might be made known through the church to the principalities and powers in the heavenly places. God takes the broadest picture, which is the wisdom of God, the many-sided, manifold wisdom of God, and He makes it known, and He makes it known to all principalities and powers, and it's done through the church. The church is the instrument of God in the earth. And so we bring the eternal perspective down to the practical, from the Old Testament, New Testament, church history, and modern perspective. That's what we're going to try to do. And hopefully this will be beneficial to you as you serve in the particular functions that you find in the local church. This course is about, of course, the church, but the church is embattled in our day. The viability of the church. There's an exodus from the church in many quarters. There are those who are predicting the demise of the church. Certainly the mainline denominations are having their difficulties. Well, what about the renewed church and the true church? And what is the difference between the true church and the visible church? Our goals, and I'll finish with this, our goals is to produce, primarily our primary goal is to produce leaders who can lead the church into the future. That would be you. Secondly, I want to, in some way, defend the bride of Christ. A little note here, if someone were to attack your wife, if you're married, someone were to attack your wife, what would you do? Would you stand by and say you shouldn't do that? Would you walk away? Would you say that's unfortunate? Someone were to attack your wife, whether verbally or physically. Now, if you are the man you should be, you would rise up in strong defense and stop those who would attack your bride. Well, there are many today who say they love Jesus, but they don't like his bride. I think Jesus is very upset about that. And so we want to defend the bride. Number three, our purpose, our goal in this course is agreement with God's eternal purposes. From before the beginning, he has had the goal and the objective of gathering a bride for his son. And that's his eternal purpose. The purposes of God run through the church of Jesus Christ, and we are a part of that. So we will agree with God's purposes. And lastly, to fall again in love with the church, the firstborn of the living God, his bride, his servant, his army, his temple, his house. And to that end, we commit ourselves. God bless you as we move forward in the study of church life.